Um, Hi, Catherine and Love What Matters people out there. Uh, this is Leah, and I am in my bestie Peter's house. He's just over there fiddling with a
Fiddling
few
with
things.
candles. Getting
I was going to say the exact same thing, read my mind.
Ah,
That's best friend telepathic power. Yeah. So this is our little story of our friendship and something yeah, how special that it is to the two of us, and yeah, welcome into our lives.
yeah. So we're gonna answer some of your questions,
Yeah.
and that's it. I was putting I was putting in batteries in my Christmas candles. I'm having coffee. So we are speaking to who?
Well, the editor is Catherine.
Hi,
Hi.
Catherine.
And this is gonna go public and hopefully viral. So just everybody out there on the Love What Matters website, once this is published, you may see this.
Papa, can you hear me? Okay. Musical theater geek.
Yes, both of us.
Both of us are, yeah. So I'm Peter Halley. This is Leah McDonald.
Hi.
And we're going to tell you about our relationship, where we met and how we met and all that stuff, and go from there, I guess, Leah. And you have your questions there, do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So you can tell us the exact date because her memory is far better and she's way more specific than me.
Perks of being an Asby. Okay. So how we met and how we both ended up being at the same ABBA show.
Well, I'll start because how I happen to be there is because it's my job. I work as an actor, singer, performer.
Lucky duck.
And
Dream job.
yeah, and so I was doing a show, and the show that night in particular was ABBA, Gotta Get the Scoop. So it's an original show with like a jukebox musical with ABBA songs inserted. And Lee was in the audience.
Yeah, and I was there because, well, I love ABBA. They're one of my favorite bands. And I don't remember the occasion. It must have been some kind of a spring fling or something. But my mom, who works at the local cancer treatment center, her work was having like a big group party. Everyone had gotten tickets to the ABBA show, and they could bring a couple other family members with them. So mom and dad and I went to the show together, and yeah, I was in the audience and had an amazing time.
That was your first time seeing a Spirit of Newfoundland show?
Second, actually.
Second, okay.
Yeah, my first, or was it my third? My third, yeah, because I'd seen Elvis was my first, and then it was Little Hooping Harbor.
Oh, right. Okay. So I am the artistic director of a company called Spirit of Newfoundland Productions, and we have been in business for 24 years, and we have our own theater, and which is a former Masonic temple, which is beautiful, and in downtown St. John's. And so we've been, we're in the middle of a Christmas run now, for example, through the pandemic, 42 nights straight, half capacity, sadly. But so Leah was just there that night, and we run 12 months a year. And I think at one point during the show, we do each of the four cast members, sort of break away from the script, but it's scripted, and we sing our favorite ABBA song. And I think I say my favorite ABBA song happens to be ABBA's top-selling single of all time. Does anybody know what it is? She like raises her hand.
And it was actually, you said it was from the perspective of two men, but it was sung by the girls.
I said it's interesting that in all of the songs that ABBA wrote and recorded, only two of them feature the men in the lead vocal position. And this song is it was an odd choice for the girls to be chosen to sing the lead because it's about two men who've just returned from war, right?
Right.
Up goes her hand, and she says,
SOS.
She said SOS, and I said, that is an excellent suggestion, but it's wrong. No, I didn't say wrong. I probably said, that's not correct, maybe. I was trying to be as nice as I could. And so the song is called Fernando.
Yes.
And then after the show, Leah, I think I commented that she was so polite because she'd raised her hand.
You did, like you said, like you felt like you were back in your classroom.
Yeah, and she's very much like, well, she was young. She is young.
I was 13, I think.
13. Okay, so she raised her hand like a polite young student in school, and then after the show we chatted, right?
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
And you remembered who I was. You were like, "Were you the girl in the back that was raising her hand?"
right.
That was me.
Yeah, and yeah, so full capacity for us, not a large venue, it was like 130. But yeah, so then we chatted, and then our friendship continued. You tell us how.
um, yeah, we kept in touch on Facebook, and I kept coming back to see the shows, and he'd see me, and we hug and catch up on how we're doing, and we became really really close over the years.
And she would always write a blog after
Hmm.
seeing one of our shows, or the people that work in our company. We also do lots of other shows in the community at the Arts and Culture Center, and so you came to see Spamalot,
Yes, yeah.
in which I was King Arthur, and that's how I officially found out that Leah um, uh, was had Asperger's, because I was telling her about our rehearsal process and this piano player and how he had Asperger's. And do you want to fill in the story?
Sure. So I was at Peter's house for a voice lesson, and we were talking about what's going on, and I said, "How's Spamalot going?" And he was telling me about this brilliant young pianist that was doing the show, who just so happens to have Asperger's, and he said, "Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone who has Asperger's?" And I'm there trying to hold back a laugh because it's so ironic that he's asked someone with Asperger's if they know anyone who does, and I'm thinking, did I forget to tell him? I thought that he knew, but he mustn't have, because he went out right out and asked me. So I said, I do, me. And
Yeah,
he,
and Lee and I were just having a conversation before we press record, and she reminded me of that. And I said, I think that was my way of just trying to confirm what I thought was the diagnosis of Asperger's, because I was aware, having been a school teacher for 12 years, and and dealing and teaching and mentoring lots of different children with different special needs, and I'm always concerned about not using the right vocabulary, the right descriptors these days. Um, so that I think that was my way of just trying to confirm, and she did confirm. Hey, I have Asperger's, and and then how Leah right away launched into, I have special powers with someone with Asperger's. I have great memory. I can learn a song really quickly. I don't forget details. I mean, all the special things that you can do,
mhm.
um, that the regular brain just can't keep up with.
And you'd asked me too, like, tell me about it. How does autism affect you?
Mm-hmm.
And that that was that was pretty cool. Like, I always get a little bit nervous when I tell people that I'm autistic, afraid of how they might react, and you know, I'm afraid they might, you know, shut me out for some reason. That's
Well,
my
the reason would
anxiety.
be, yeah, the reason would be because of bullying situations in the past. So you learn this behavior, and you think, if
Yeah.
I tell them or if they know, my fear is based on, like, people that were bullies to you, and so I get that, of course.
Yeah. That made me feel really great when he like actually wanted to know how this affects me, how he can be a better friend. Like, it was he's always been wonderful like that. He was the first neurotypical, and that's a big sciencey word. Neurotypical is okay. I have Asperger's. My brain works differently. Like, I have an amazing memory, like he said. I have, like, my ears are turned up to 11. They have the same power as Spinal Tap's amps. um, I have all this amazing stuff that I can do. Peter is amazing in his own way, but his brain he's neurotypical. Um, his brain developed and is functioning normally. He hasn't got any sort of intellectual challenges or developmental delays or anything like that. So that's basically what neurotypical means. He was my first friend without any sort of special needs, and that that meant a lot to me to finally find someone without special needs to accept me and want to be around me. Like all through my life, I'd been through a lot of bullying by my neurotypical peers, and it sucked.
Isn't that terrible?
Mm,
Bullying, I think, comes from a really insecure place from people, though. You know, they could be bullies, could have their own, and I think do have their own demons and their own issues to deal with,
yeah,
and that's how they, you know, they deal. And I think in years to come, you're going to have a bunch of people that'll come up to you and say, Leah, I don't know if you remember me, but I was a complete jerk to you in school. And I've lived with that. I bet they do live with that that pain of knowing that they caused somebody else harm.
I hope so.
I hope so too, because only in that can people
Hmm.
learn. So I think you will definitely find that. What were some of the other questions that we had to
Um,
we had to answer
well, one of them is
or talk about?
what are some things that we have in common?
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well, I know that I'm a horse fanatic, and I have two of my own horses, and I ride. And Leah also loves animals. She
I
loves
do
my dog, and she has a cat, and
two of them.
yeah, two of them. And my dog loves her, and he's not here today. But he feels very comfortable, and when she's having her lesson, he comes over and sleeps on her by her feet. And she's a really, really good horse person. She's ridden Max many times. Did you ride Jesse as well?
I did,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So I have a Newfoundland pony, which is really interesting. And I was on the board of directors for the Newfoundland Pony Association because they are a critically endangered species, and we want to make sure that that doesn't get worse, and we want to protect that breed, that rare
Hmm.
breed. And I also have a quarter Clyde cross, so she's been riding with me a few times. What other things do we? Theater.
Yes,
We both love theater. We're both theater geeks.
absolutely obsessed.
Yeah.
um, and Indian food is another common interest of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Like before it closed down, sadly, International Flavors was our favorite place to go. They had the best chicken curry in downtown St. John's.
Amazing. Yeah,
Hmm.
amazing. I'm very sad about it
Me
too.
too.
Um, Talat was the owner and just amazing.
Hi, Talat.
Hi, Talat.
Hope you're out
Yeah,
there, but
she's
hi.
living in Toronto now with her daughters. Um, what else? Music in general.
Yes.
So Leah comes to me for voice lessons and piano lessons, and we were singing together. And then I said, we should incorporate some piano, and discovered that she had a really good mathematical sort of approach to numbers and fingers, and saying, oh, so what you're doing is 1 3 or 1 5 1 3 1 5 1. I was like, oh, I guess I am. So her approach was very mathematical, but she can mimic and make that happen really well. So she's doing very, very well with that. So we have that in common. What else do we have in common?
Spa days.
Spa days. We love what do we call it?
Self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good facial?
We went and had one last week or 2 weeks ago. It was honestly the most perfect day.
It was great. Yeah, Leah she's a really thrifty gal. She found out about these people that are teaching, or they're students of, facials and pedicures. And so they need subjects to work on. So we went there free of charge. Still haven't sent them a tip yet. I have to do that. But they were excellent. So we had that lovely spa day and then a bite to eat afterwards. We've written a musical together, a play.
We have.
And it's all about autism. It's a take on Alice in Wonderland. And Alice, having just had a tiff with her sister Diana, is banished to her bedroom by her mother. Her sister Diana, unbeknownst to Alice, is autistic, and Mom has been spending more time with her lately, and Alice is a little jealous. She goes into her room, falls asleep, and then goes to Wonderland. And all the characters that Alice meets in Wonderland, she meets them, but they're all on the autism spectrum. and it's really interesting. So each character presents differently, and each of them have different um, needs and behaviors, and some are verbal, some are nonverbal, and it's a great little journey. It's great. So we're looking for funding for that, and
We may get it.
we may get it.
Fingers are crossed. We're going to find out on New Year's Day, or pretty close to that. So pray for us if you do that.
Okay, that's enough about us in common, I think.
Yeah.
What else?
Uh, oh, how did I become one of your music students?
Oh, you're gonna have to say that because I've been also. So I went through the music department here and studied, and then years ago I started teaching. It's something I love to do. So I've always had students, and I enter them in festivals or we have recitals or so on. And Leah came to me because and how.
Okay, so it was about 2014, I believe, yes. And I had attended a performance of Mary Poppins with my mom and my niece. And reading through the program, I saw my friend Nicholas Keogh, who was playing Michael. I was reading his bio, and it said, Nicholas would like to thank his vocal coach, Peter Halley. And I stopped. I'm like, this is a thing Peter does? Wow. Like, he is one of the most talented, amazing musicians in the province. I was like, I have to get in on this. So,
Very kind.
I.
So she did, and so you called me, did you? Her memory is wild, so much better than mine.
A few weeks later, I went to your show, Skeet Snobs and Peppermint Knobs at the Legion, and I, talked to you afterward. I said, I hear you're a voice teacher. How much
Right,
do you
I remember,
charge? Are
yeah,
you taking new students?
Yeah. Okay, so that happened, and then you've been coming here for Saturday mornings, right?
Yes.
And doing piano and singing, and too bad you couldn't play and sing something on a separate. You should send.
Yes, I'm going to. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
And aside from piano and voice, he's been my teacher in a few other capacities as well. Bless this man. I had to repeat world history in high school because I failed at it, and the college that I wanted to get into, I couldn't get into it without having passed world history. I needed to completely pass grade 12. So
you did a supplementary exam.
Yes, I had to do a supplementary exam.
And relearn the whole course.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if anybody knows, but world history for grade 12 is mammoth.
Yes.
I've done 3 university degrees. I couldn't believe the amount of information that was jam-packed into that course. And it's French, in French immersion. So, so that was, we learned a lot, and we developed ways that we could remember certain names and, those things you do. But so that worked, and she passed.
It did.
We passed because I felt completely invested in that process.
Yeah, it was really awesome that he was able to, put music aside for a little while to help me with this course. And I went on to go to that college, and I did early childhood education. And he was a kindergarten teacher before he started this music thing. Well, that was one of the grades that he taught.
Right. I taught many grades. Kindergarten just happened. Kindergarten to grade 12, and at every grade in between, I was trying to find myself.
Yeah. So he had that bit of advantage in knowing how little kids work, if that's the right way of putting it.
Early childhood education, ECE, is what the course was that she was taking.
Yeah.
She's graduated since.
Yeah, I graduated in October. Go me. So he helped me out with my child development, childhood nutrition, and a bunch of other courses that I had to take for that degree. And I'm very thankful to him for all that help.
I learned a lot too.
And I've also been his teacher a couple times.
She has. So you talk about it, and I'm going to go get something to show off. Yeah.
I was hoping you would. Oh, careful, Poppy.
She calls me Poppy.
So I love to finger knit. I have this special loopy yarn that I use, and I've been doing that for about 3 years now. And I turned that passion into a business. I have Loops by Leah. You can find it on Facebook. And
This is one of her creations.
yes, this scarf I made.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started working at Michael's,
Yeah, I thought
where she works now,
Mm-hmm.
and she was teaching knitting. So
yes, I thought it'd be fun to pass my knowledge on to other people and teach them this fun new hobby. And Peter made this hat.
I even made the poofy, the ball. So this is what I made in her class, and I went with two of my other students and one of the parents.
That first one with Aoife and all that was you made a cowl that day, and the hat.
Oh,
was
the
you
cowl
and,
that Carrie.
Yeah.
Righto. Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
And along with being one of his students, I also work for Peter, which I absolutely love. Like, she wants us to talk about that as well, how I began to do that. And yeah.
Well, I found that Leah, I would ask Leah to do certain things. I don't know if this came before or after your hire with Spirit of Newfoundland, but I would ask her to transcribe an old script or something.
I think that might have been after.
Maybe after. But after she came to work with us, doing a number of different things, everything under the sun, like the cutlery and the napkins and, well, you can say what you... Everything.
Yeah. I am a Jill of all trades, as I like to say. I polish the silverware. I fold the napkins. I replace the burnt out tea lights. I set the tables.
Because we do dinner in a show.
I transcribe scripts. I do spreadsheets. I have taken pictures for the Facebook page. I tend to the partridge in a pear tree.
Yeah. So and has written many blogs about our shows. But yeah, so after I found out how efficient she was, I would ask her to sometimes we wouldn't have a copy of a script of a show we had done. So I'd send a recording of the show to Leah. She would listen and transcribe it into a document that I could manipulate and change. So because if we do a second run of a show, I can learn from the first time we did it and change the script somewhat. And so I had to digitize a lot of the scripts. So she's done a lot of that work as well. And also, her generosity has been overwhelming because she's also a visual artist and has painted different pieces of her art and gone out on her own and sold them for the Masonic Restoration Fund. And the Masonic is where we are running out of, and the Masonic is a provincial and national historic protected building. And it's just a beautiful 125-plus-year-old building that is in serious need of help, and it can't be done without any support from government, and which is not easy to get for a business. And so Leah has taken it upon herself just to sell her pieces of art. I have several Leah McDonald originals. In fact, I hung one last night.
Oh.
Yes, because it's obviously we're coming up to Christmas. I'll take it off the wall and show you.
I haven't even noticed.
Yeah. And so she's done many paintings.
And Peter is my biggest supporter. I love that about him. He's always, sharing my posts and buying my artwork. And, I love that one. That's one of my favorite ones that I've ever done.
So I've played the Grinch many times. And so,
which is hard to believe because this guy is as sweet as anything. He's a big teddy bear.
Well, the Grinch is a nice guy too.
Well, in the end, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And I put this up with my Christmas decorations every year. So that's one of many that I have. So she has given us actual presentations of checks for the Masonic Restoration Fund.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other questions we were asked was if we'd run into any trouble because of our friendship.
Yeah.
Can you read that one? Because I'm not sure how to answer that question or that comment.
Mm-hmm. Have either of you faced any internal or external challenges together during your friendship? And if so, how have you overcome them?
I think through discussion anytime like I'm aware that Leah, if I have to cancel last minute, when her schedule gets changed last minute, she would often get very upset.
It can
And
throw me. It can throw. Bleh, it throws my brain for a loop, and yeah.
yeah, so we've sort of talked through that, and we'll communicate and say it doesn't look like it's going to happen this, and I found that you've gotten so much better at
I'm
that.
trying, yeah.
Yeah, and um, just different things. I know because she comes early Saturday mornings and we have shows Friday nights. You used to come like 45 minutes early for your lesson, really early, and I'd have to say, "Oh, I need to sleep," So that has changed too, and it's just communication. Um, what else? Um, but as far as work is concerned, at the Masonic Temple we have so many people with special needs.
Yes, yeah. Working for Peter at the Masonic Temple is absolutely it's heaven there for me because I my opinions are valued. I'm respected. I'm treated like everyone else. Um, I don't have to worry at all about being bullied for anything. I mean, they are
That
all really, really kind to me, and it's wonderful to finally fit in and belong. And it's also wonderful that Spirit's an equal opportunity employer. Like I'm not the only one on our staff who has special needs.
In fact, you job shadowed for Cameron, and
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, I
so
helped train him in and
yeah,
showed him the ropes.
and also having autism, you were the perfect one for him to show him the ropes and
Mm.
sort of prepare him for any challenges that might happen. So I guess if there's ever been any issues, they've been easily overcome by just communication. And yeah, so other than that, I haven't really. Although you said that your niece thinks it's weird that I'm your friend and I could be
Yeah.
your father. I think you said grandfather, actually.
uh, I said that I have friends that are okay. Yes, I do call him Poppy. We do have that little bit of an inside thing, but yeah, I
It hurt. I'm joking.
sorry.
I'm joking.
um, yeah, I have most of my friends. Honestly, are old enough to be my parents or grandparents.
That's true. She hangs out with a lot of seniors.
I do. um, and my niece is like, that's strange. Like these people are old enough to be your parents, your grandparents. You should have friends your own age.
But you do have friends your own age.
Uh, not many really. Some of them that are pretty close, a couple of years younger or older, but I don't think I have any friends that are like right up there with me.
Like Kristen and Glenn and the people that you have at your house for parties.
Yeah, Glenn is 10 years older than me. Heather is
Yeah, but I mean
13 or so. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do enjoy spending time with seniors. I go to a lot of open mic shows, and that's basically I'm the youngest one there.
That's something else we have in common too, because I love communicating with seniors.
So do I.
My mom was in a senior's home because she had a broken hip, and so she had to go. That was the level of care she needed, and she was in there for 6 years, and I was there every single day. Well, if I was away, obviously not, but I was there a lot and made really, really good friends there, like lifelong friends, and learned so much, just about seniors and how they interact as a group, in a home like that.
Yeah, I love spending my time with seniors. I mean, they have. Don't come at me in the comments for this, but better taste in music than most people my age. I can't stand what's on the radio today. And
It's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
yeah, and they have so many stories to tell. I could just listen to them talk for hours.
Mm-hmm.
After learning that I'm autistic, well, I guess we probably got into this, but after learning that I'm autistic, in what ways have you become a better teacher and friend?
Yeah, I guess knowing each other and knowing knowing what sets you off. Leah is a globophobe,
Yes.
I didn't know what globophobia was. She's afraid of anything, well, balloons, basically.
Yeah.
But anything that has the potential to explode and make a noise
Hmm.
because her hearing is set so much higher.
Yeah.
And so if she goes in anywhere and sees balloons, or if we have balloons at the venue, we have to try to remove them and let her know that these are on the way out. You have nothing to worry about. Because that's a panic, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Knowing that potentially can break and can.
Like.
Right. And so we had a funny situation last week. One of the rare times she was behind schedule. You came late, and it was a nice fall day. So I went out on my deck and I started to sweep some leaves and pull out some weeds and at the end of the summer. And then I came back up on the deck, and Leah had come in. So she was
Oh, that.
for her
I was
lesson,
wondering where this was
her
going.
lesson at 9, and she was wearing her mask. Do you have it? Which
I
is
don't.
it's white mask and a little set of creepy red lips. And I was on the deck, and I turned around, come back into the house, and she went, "Hi," and I went, "Ah!" Like, screamed, which made her scream and go into like a globophobe reaction, and both of us had to take several minutes to get ourselves together. So we try not to do that to each other.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, like he said, if he knows he has to reschedule something, he gives me notice beforehand.
I try.
Yeah. And my brain does not compute with like sarcasm and jokes and puns and stuff, and even certain like big words. Like if he says something I don't understand, like a figure of speech or something, he will explain it to me, or he or someone else makes a joke, like he will say, "Oh, this he didn't really mean that. It's a joke." Like remember this St. Patrick's Day at Patrice's house?
My sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remind me.
Yeah. We were all sitting around the table having supper, and some of them had stew, and I was having uh, French onion soup because I don't like gravy. And either I said that or you did. One of us said that I don't like gravy, and his nephew David looked at me with like this serious expression on his face, and he was like, "Leah, I think you're gonna have to leave." And I was at first a little bit hurt, thinking that he actually meant that. But Peter was like, "He doesn't mean that. It's only a joke," and he kind of explained to David pretty quickly. She takes things seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was just making a joke. I'm just thinking ahead now. I wonder what he meant. Gravy. Uh,
His nickname is Davy Gravy. So.
But right, that's what I was gonna say. His nickname. I just connected with that. Davy Gravy. I don't like gravy. Leah, you're gonna have to leave. So he could have meant it because you don't like gravy and you were very apologetic, or my nickname is Gravy and he didn't say it, and maybe that was it. Who knows? But anyway, she.
Yeah, we're polar opposites. He was like a big balloon monster too when he was young, so total opposite of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, going off on a tangent.
I think we've covered everything, haven't we?
Just about. Oh, so there's a couple of big things we forgot.
Oh.
I am a Special Olympics athlete. I have been for about a decade, I think, by now. And I got into Special Olympics when I was hanging out with my friend Matthew, and he said to me one day, I have bowling tonight. Do you want to come watch? I was like, that sounds fun. Sure. So I went to the bowling alley with him, and I saw so many of my friends from school, and I met so many other nice people, and I had a great time watching and thought this would be fun to get into. So my mom talked to his, and a few weeks later, I was an official Bright Star on the bowling team with Special Olympics and CBS.
Bright Star?
That's our team name, the Bright Stars, yep.
Okay.
I knew that. Sure.
I did, but you said it quickly, and I thought I was official Bright Star. Bright Star, right? The team name,
mm-hmm.
Of course. Go ahead.
And I really have been enjoying Special Olympics. It's been a great outlet for me to meet new people that are just like me, and it's a great confidence boost too. I mean, I can't do math for the life of me, and I can't tie my own shoes. I'm in Velcros.
That's something else we have in common too.
Oh, really? You can't tie your shoes?
No, I can tie my shoes. I don't like math.
Oh.
Artistic brain.
Anyway, I can't do those things, but I can do good enough with a bowling ball to win one of these. Um, I'm really proud of this. In fact, this one here is my most prized one because this is a bowling medal that I won for the Clarenville 2014 Winter Games. I was up against neurotypical people. I bet people whose brains are different than mine to win this, and that was a really proud moment for me.
Well, I'm going to tell you, myself and my friend Shelly, who's my singing partner, took Leah and Glenn bowling out in CBS,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been joking for a long time, saying, "Oh, you're going down. No, you're going down. You're going to." And I thought we're gonna kill them. I mean, we're just going to be excellent. I can't bowl very well, but I had confidence. They killed us.
We did.
Yeah, they legit. We were like, Shelly, I didn't know they were that good. So then we ate
We're
pizza.
gold medalists, bye.
I know you're gold medalist. I thought that was funny, but I really didn't. I didn't know your skill level until she trimmed us in the lanes. But it was fun.
It was.
Yep.
Um,
What else do we have?
and after bowling, I tried a whole bunch of other sports. I did snowshoeing for like a day. I stopped that because it was too cold and I kept falling on my butt. And I was in athletics for a little bit, like that's like track and field type of stuff. I did swimming. The sports that I've kind of stuck with Special Olympics are rhythmic gymnastics, which is my favorite because I love music and dancing, and it's so graceful and pretty. And yes, that's my favorite apparatus, the ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
And bocce and bowling. No, sorry, I don't do bowling anymore. I gave that up a little while ago. Bocce and softball is the other one. And Peter has actually played a bit of a role in my being a rhythmic gymnast. So it was last year, yes. The two of us were in our favorite restaurant, again, International Flavors, just having a chit chat and kind of catching up on life. And I said, I've got this rhythmic gymnastics competition coming up in a couple of weeks, and I am not ready for it. I am nervous as all get out. There are these couple of really hard moves that I have to nail, and I have no practice at all. Like the only time I get is my Thursday nights at the gym, because my house
needs height.
Yeah, like one false move, like I had to like do a lasso kind of thing with the rope, and if I do that in the house, the ceiling fan's gonna come down. Because I had these different moves to do and no space to do them, no open safe space where I won't bump into anything or knock anything down, I could not practice. And the weather, here in Newfoundland, we say, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, because like 1 second it could be beautiful, next second, torrential freaking downpour. So I said to him, I wish that I had somewhere that I could practice my stuff, that I won't hurt myself or break anything. And he was like, what about the Masonic? And I'm like, really? Of course. I mean, yeah, just call down in advance, make sure it's not booked, and you're good to go. And that was, thank you again so much for that. I really appreciated finally having a space. Like, I went down a couple days later, and it was amazing to finally be able to freely move around and not bump into anything and be able to practice my stuff.
22-foot ceilings there, so.
Oh, wow, that's perfect.
Yeah, so she can throw that ribbon or those balls pretty high.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the floor still has a couple of dents from when I was still getting used to my gloves. Those things are plastic little weapons, and they can cause a bit of damage. And I used to drop them a lot. Anyway, last summer, I kept coming back to the Masonic week after week, sometimes once, twice a week, before and after school to practice. And that summer, in the competition, the medal I showed you just a minute ago, that was from last summer. That was one of the ones that I won. I managed to get 4 gold medals and 1 silver. I got gold for all around, rope, hoop, and ball, and I got silver for my ribbon. And I, made sure to thank Peter for that and everyone at the Masonic for, allowing me to use their space. And, I said, and I totally believe this, that I would not have done as well as I did if it wasn't for them. They gave me a space to practice, and that was
Well, you did the work.
awesome. I did, of course.
Yes.
But you gave me the space to do the work, so it was yeah.
What else are we missing?
And along with my being a Special Olympics athlete, back in, July, early June, July, I think, I got an email, and it was like, our week of inclusion is coming up. We are looking for champions of inclusion, people that have gone above and beyond for people with special needs to help them, to make them feel accepted and included, and who've done amazing things for people with special needs. And I was like, I know exactly who I'm going to nominate. This guy. Like, he's, like I said, been amazing to me over the years. My first neurotypical friend. He's always there for me whenever I need a hug or advice. He gives some really good advice. He's been a wonderful boss. So many, many things. He was so deserving of this award. And how did that make you feel when I told you, hey, I did a thing. You might be getting an award.
Yeah, it was just tremendous. It just felt great, and so many messages from people, and it was very kind, because you had to do a lot of work for that too. You had to, so none of these things happen without work and commitment and all the things that you have. So you did all those things, and because it was a national award, I got like letters from 2 ministers.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, did I?
You did not tell me that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, and
wow.
People, on Facebook commenting, and yeah, it was a little overwhelming, really, to tell you the truth. But it was overwhelming in the most positive way. It was very nice and kind.
Yeah, I'm still amazed at how viral this has gotten. Like, I, just wanted to share my story with the world and show everyone else how wonderful and sweet and amazing that Peter is. I did not think it would get this far. I mean, it's incredible that it has. I think it's the coolest thing.
It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be ignorant and say I don't know what it means to go viral, because obviously I do, but like a lot of people see it and talk about it, and it creates a buzz, but I don't know the level of its viewership or its this the reach of the story.
Well, we've made Brittlestar talked about us on his show, and he's based in Toronto, so like billions of people in Toronto saw it, and he's got also people from all over the world watching his morning show thing.
Yeah.
So that went far, and CBC, well, I think that got all over the province and on the news and VOCM.
We did some news.
Radio.
Some interviews and many celebrities for a while. It was great.
For a while, like we already both are.
Well, we're both celebrities. Is there more there?
There's a few. I guess they're really more directed towards me. Like, what would I like people to learn about autism?
Well, the fact that you are such an advocate about educating people about autism and the various, I think the show that we wrote says a lot, because, if you meet one person with autism,
you've met one person with autism. That's my big thing to say.
That's a biggie. The R word is something they're trying to banish from the
don't like
English.
that one.
It's a really hard one here in Newfoundland too, because with our turn of phrase and stuff, a lot of people use that very innocently as a turn of phrase. So it's just a gentle reminder to remind people that there are people that are quite offended. I don't think
I'm one.
Yeah, I don't think ever the firm approach of don't do that would ever work in situations. I think when people truly learn, oh yeah, I didn't realize I was offending anybody. Um, but yeah, I mean, you are doing a lot just through your blog to educate people and let them know. I like also how you turn, what some people will think of as a disability, you refer to as superpowers,
Oh yeah.
and that is a really nice. It's just a mind shift of thinking about things that way, and it's true. I remember Leah saying, "I'm going to sing at an open mic today, later on today, and having a lesson that morning and starting a song." And I'll say, "What are you just going to read the words?" And she says, "No, I have it memorized now." I said, "When did you do that?" And she said, "We just sang it." And I'm like, "Oh my God, my brain doesn't work like that. I have to go. I have to go and study." So that's pretty impressive. So in a lot of ways, they are superpowers. But I think the more people that think of autism that way, and the various you know superpowers people have, if they think of them as superpowers, it's I think more people would get hired at jobs. People,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so much that I mean, even my lotto tickets. Recently, I just said to Leah, I have so many lotto tickets, and I understand that you can get a second chance on the lotto tickets. So people buy all of these lotto tickets and then they throw them away, and they could be throwing away money, but you just have to get online, and I don't know what you do, but you click away. And I asked Leah, I said, "You want to make a few extra bucks? Because check my lotto tickets, and maybe I think I won an extra ticket or something. Did I?"
Yes, you did. You won an extra ticket and $2.
There you go. That could have gone in the garbage.
Hmm.
I have more tickets for you, by the way.
Um, and yeah, I mean, like, I think of my autism as a superpower, and I'm pretty blessed to have that. And another thing that I like people to know about people with autism is, I mean, okay, yeah, we're a little different. Yeah, my brain works differently than yours, but I mean, I'm just like any regular person. I mean, I'm subscribed to the Try Guys on YouTube. Zach is my favorite. Hi. I make the best banana bread that you will ever eat. Like seriously, not trying to brag, but okay, maybe a little bit. I love to play board games with my friends. I love going on walks. I'm a regular person, just like you. I mean, I just have a couple of superpowers. Um, so get to know us before you judge us, because just like he did, you could make a new best friend for life. And one other question was a couple of like, what are any misconceptions about autism? And we kind of got into that. Some people will say, "Oh, I've seen Rain Man or I've seen Big Bang Theory. You must be just like Sheldon or whoever." No. uh, while Dustin Hoffman's portrayal of an autistic person was fantastic, I love the movie Rain Man. He's him, I'm me. Like we said, you've met one person with autism, you've met one. We're all a grab bag of uh, different little pieces. Um,
Just like any other human being, I
yeah,
think we're all different, right? We all have our brains, our emotions work differently. Um, you know, but we can't be judged for, especially if everything is meant in a good, caring, kind way. People have reactions to things that some people mightn't find pleasing, but if they come from a pretty good place, we can't really judge them in a harsh way. Um, yeah.
yeah, and oh, a big one. Um, Vaccines. Yes, I'm gonna go there. Uh, they do not cause autism. Like, I am getting tired of having to say this, but like, just stop it. Vaccinate yourself and your kids. You will not get autism from a vaccine. Like, that theory has been scientifically proven false. It's not real. Um, like, please get your shots. Like, and it
Have you ever had the
makes
flu shot?
I have.
You have. I haven't. I've been meaning to.
Hmm.
I'm not afraid. I just, put on the long finger.
And it makes me sad, honestly, that there's people out there that believe this, and that they would rather have a sick, dying child with like polio or COVID or any kind of deadly old thing, rather than a kid with autism. Like,
Mm.
what did I ever do to you? Why? Autism is not all that bad. Like, and the fact that you'd rather have your kid die than turn out like me, like that hurts my heart.
Yeah. So, go vaccinate yourself.
It might be towards me too, but maybe you could have something to say here. What's some advice you can offer to others with a similar experience?
Well, like the people that we have hired with special needs, it's been so uplifting in our lives. Our friend Blaine, who is our longest employee, is brilliant. Blaine will, for example, he'll say, when were you born? So someone will say February 28th, 1972. And then he will calculate and say, you were born on Monday. And then we tell him, or Tuesday or Wednesday, he'd know what day of the week you were born. And he's also a savant when it comes to anything pop culture reference, music. Beatles wrote that song in 1972, or, just incredible facts. It's been a real highlight in our lives, just to have special people with special needs work with us and become our friends. It's been beautiful. So I would just recommend to anybody, is that what the question was, to go out and do the same?
I agree, yeah. And like I said, give us a chance. Don't judge us before you meet us. And yeah, you can end up making a new best friend.
And a transcriber and a knitter and
yeah.
Actually, and also, so Leah's done a lot of different things for me, but my my dog Frenchie, who is 5 years old now, he's out visiting today with a friend. He had a horrible health crisis years ago when he was just 9 months old. So he had some brain damage because he died under anesthesia. And anyway, he's all recovered, but his hearing and sight have been affected. And but coming out of that, it was the vet said it was like a computer resetting. So he couldn't walk and he couldn't see and he couldn't hear. And so after he was back home after the hospital visit, I had to have a sitter. So Leah was the dog sitter because stairs or he would have like caused harm to himself.
Yeah.
So because of that, I think you guys have a pretty good little bond, don't you?
I think so too.
You and French. Yeah. We've covered so much here today.
Yeah, we have. We really have.
Yeah. And I'd say your mom was out in the driveway.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
One of the things I remind Leah of often is at the end saying goodbye or finishing a conversation or ending an evening, she will elongate in spite of the fact that her parents are out in the driveway. And I will say, Leah, your dad is outside. And then she'll say, I know, I'm going now. And next thing I'll see her back again and I'll go, oh my. So anyway, her parents are
I'm bad at that, yeah.
Her parents are excellent. They are excellent. They are driving her all over the planet.
But I'm working on that. I'm trying to earn my permit.
Yeah, did you get your permit yet? No.
No.
A lot of tricky questions about tire pressure.
Yeah.
We were studying that too. Anyway, I think we should say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.